Greetings, everyone. This is Andrew Greenberg with the Georgia Game Developers Association. As you know, the GGDA represents everyone involved professionally in the video game industry, be that video game developers, live streamers, esports competitors. While many of these people have some of the specific technical tools that they need, like OBS, like Adobe, like Unreal, a lot of them don't have the personal and business tools they might need. To that end, we have partnered with the Piedmont Group and Mass Mutual to supply some of these tools. Gentlemen, can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Thanks, Andrew. It's great to be with you. My name is Mike Kipnis. I'm a senior partner here at the Piedmont Group and Mass Mutual. Our company's been in business 169 years, providing individual and business insurance in the life insurance, disability income, long-term care insurance, and business overhead expense insurance arena. We're thrilled to be partnering with you and your organization to be able to deliver these solutions to you and your members.
Hey, good afternoon, Andrew. My name is Justin Spancake. I'm with the Piedmont Group as well. Mike and I work together jointly on a number of clients similar to your association to serve their members on an individual basis. We're very happy to put this partnership together and have an opportunity to deliver a value add to your members that they currently don't have through the GGDA.
That's great. Let's jump into some of the specifics about these tools. For instance, disability insurance. Why should one of our people who owns their own studio, is a contractor working on video games, or started their own esports team, why would they need something like disability insurance when they're in fine health and they're living well off of Red Bull and pizza?
It's a great question, Andrew. In the reality, nobody needs disability insurance until they get sick or hurt and they don't have it. Whether you're a gamer or developer, there are going to be situations that you may not be able to get to work or do your job. And that's where disability insurance comes into play. It's designed specifically to replace the income that the individual might lose if he or she is unable to work on a full-time basis. These contracts are written specifically with the language of what you're educated and trained to do. So many people that are in business for themselves have things like health insurance, they have things like liability insurance, they have car insurance and homeowners insurance. But disability insurance is really designed to replace the lost income if an individual was unable to work in their primary occupation for any period of time.
Excellent, excellent. What about long-term care insurance? Why should one of our people who's not 70 years old, like me, need to worry about long-term care insurance? Why should they get it while they're young?
Sure, Andrew. That's another very good question. Many people are unaware that in the United States, long-term care is the #1 depleter of personal assets. Many people also may not be aware that it can be very advantageous to get that type of coverage set up when you are younger, say someone in their 40s or 50s, as opposed to waiting to their 60s or 70s. It can be very advantageous from a pricing perspective to go ahead and get that locked in to make sure when that need arises, that risk will already be buttoned up.
And most people, Andrew, have had a life event in their family, a mother, father, aunt, uncle who has, outlived their life expectancy and now become a financial and emotional burden for an adult family member. And I think the more planning you can do ahead of time and look at these kinds of solutions when you're younger and healthier, I think the more financially sound your overall insurance program would look. I would also say that in your 40s and 50s, you're probably healthy enough to acquire this type of coverage. And it doesn't always have to be a traditional long-term care insurance policy. We have policies that are called hybrid insurance policies that cover long-term care wrapped around either an annuity contract or a life insurance contract. And these can be very competitively priced for the individuals and the business owners.
Right. And you don't have to be of retirement age to have long-term care insurance kick in, do you?
No, I've had claims as people as early in their 50s. It's a matter of an illness. I've had a client with Parkinson's disease in his early mid-50s. I've had an individual with early onset Alzheimer's. So it is planning for down the road, and you hope you don't need it for a long, long time. But as Justin said, the younger and healthier you are, the more price competitive it is.
All right, let's talk about business overhead insurance. So you've been running a studio for a few years. You've had no issues. Why would you be interested in business overhead insurance?
Well, if you're like most business owners, Andrew, you're going to have expenses, whether it's rent, whether it's phones, whether it's computers. You might have a personal loan or a business loan that you have to manage every month. You may have part-time employees. You may have full-time employees. If you are unable to work, but your business can run without you for a period of time, the only way you're going to cover those expenses is either to go into your own savings or your own cash flow, or have an insurance policy that will actually pay the salaries, pay the loans. Maybe you have a car loan through the business. Maybe you have a business loan through the SBA. So your business expenses will not go away. And instead of having to close up the shop, these policies typically cover those expenses for 24 months. So you can at least either unwind the business and sell it to someone else, or position your replacement so that the business can keep running until you get back to work full time.
Excellent. So you referenced life insurance before. And in the gaming industry, we like to make the joke about life insurance that it's one of those games where if you win, i.e., you survive, you lose, you don't get the money. On the other hand, if you lose, you die, you do win, you get the money. But you offer vehicles that aren't exactly that old joke. So tell us a little about the life insurance policies that you're offering our members.
Sure, Andrew, we can touch on that briefly here too. Unfortunately, the real world doesn't quite work like it does within a game. Unfortunately, when we all do meet our demise, there is no option to take a left and hit a button and re-up. It doesn't quite work that way, unfortunately. When those situations happen, there are oftentimes items that are left sort of that have not been taken care of. There are things that need to be buttoned up, and we can help out in those areas. It's probably important, I think, for us to also mention that, traditionally when people think about life insurance, they think of sort of a temporary vehicle. There are also some other options that we can structure that have added benefits that the typical temporary vehicle does not offer. Specifically a cash value bucket that builds within the policy depending on how we structure it. And that cash can be used in a very tax advantageous way much earlier than you could say with a Roth IRA or something along those lines.
And I think what we want to make sure that your folks all understand is we're going to be accessible and reachable, and everybody's insurance program is going to look a little bit different. That's one of the benefits of having the individual contact of Justin and myself. But we can describe different types of insurance policies, and our goal is to listen to your association, to your members, to design a policy that makes the most sense. It makes the most sense to have a policy that's only in force for 10 years, and that's all they needed to cover a business loan. Then that would be a term life insurance policy. If a client wants to look at something that has post-retirement death benefit, and maybe they want coverage for their kids and grandkids, then they might look at a permanent life insurance policy. And we're here to take those discussions to the level that we listen to them, and they know that we're going to give them our best opinion of the best solution for what makes sense in their individual situation.
So some of these life insurance policies are actually strategic tools for a business. Let's talk a little bit about one that we see a lot in the gaming industry for a creative studio, where you've got a number of partners come together and they actually take out insurance to, if something happens to one of the partners, that the company doesn't end up in trouble as a result. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we tend to call that key person insurance, and it's designed to do exactly that. In the event the death of a partner, a vehicle like that is designed to then handle the equity that is left. Most partners may not want to go into business with the widow of their deceased partner. And this can be structured in a way to already have a plan about where those shares go, where that equity goes, and there's no disruption in the business going forward.
And those life insurance policies are really tied closely to the business agreement. So if you, me, and Justin were partners, Andrew, and we each owned a third of the company and we each put in, $50,000, and that's our equity in the business, but 10 years later, the business is worth $1 million, you would want to keep an eye on those life insurance policies that they kept track with the ownership equity interest of each of the partners. And like Justin said, you're trying to avoid the unfortunate breakup of a business. If there is not an agreement, if something were to happen to one of the partners, then you end up having a situation where you go into business with my wife and she knows nothing about our business, and all she wants is her 1/3 equity of the business. So it is truly key person insurance, and it's one of the most important things. And quite frankly, it's not very expensive to secure on the partners that are the interested entities.
That's great information. Now, we've gone over a bunch of different tools here, and for you watching it, we appreciate you sticking through it. I understand you can spend an hour on the specific user interface tweaks that you can put into Unity, but this is a different matter, and thanks for sticking with us. So as a last thing, let's find out, A, if there is a discount to GCA members for going through the Piedmont Group, and B, how our members can contact you.
Sure, we've been able to negotiate discounts on the previously mentioned policies. The GGDA is going to have their own separate code, so they can contact myself or Justin directly. My direct line at my office is 770-551-3450, and my email is mkipnis, KIPNISS, @financialguide.com. We will also make sure that that information is part of your email newsletter and that all your members have access to it. We're really excited to be able to make an impact to your membership. And Justin, give them your contact info.
Sure. So my direct office line is 770-551-3424. My email address is jspancake@financialguide.com. That's JSPANCAKE. And again, we think this is a large value add for the membership as well. On an individual basis, they will never have to call a 1-800 number, to speak to someone. They will have direct access to both Mike and I to have these conversations. And we think that is very important to provide that level of attention to the membership on an individual basis.
And one other thing, we're licensed in all 50 states. So if you have gamers that are outside of the Georgia footprint, that's not going to limit them for utilizing us if they need our services. So licensed in all 50 states for all the above mentioned insurance policies that we've discussed.
That's been a lot of great information. Thank you both very much. Thanks to the Piedmont Group, and we look forward to working with you for many years to come. Thanks, everybody.
Andrew. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We definitely are happy to have formed this partnership, and we look forward to being a resource to your members.
Thank you.